Welcome to day 4 of our explainer. Today is the day we leave the theory behind and unlock the absolute powerhouse of AI, prompt engineering. This is where we finally learn how to grab the wheel and truly steer the ship. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with a welcome to day 4, then hit the foundational AI prompts, figure out how to add context and character, move into step-by-step AI reasoning, and finally wrap the whole thing up with the optimization tool project. Let's dive in. Section 1. Welcome to Day 4, Mastering AI Communication. Section 2. The Foundational AI Prompts, or Setting the Rules. All right, so these are the absolute bedrock of all AI communication. Seriously, if you don't establish these correctly right out of the gate, everything else we build on top of them is going to be incredibly shaky. System prompts are those overarching instructions that establish the fundamental rules and behavior for the AI's entire environment. Think of them as the rules of the game. Before the AI even glances at your daily tasks, it checks that system prompt to figure out its boundaries. Like, did you tell it to be a strictly factual coding assistant or an expansive, whimsical creative writer? You are quite literally programming the environment itself here. Okay, next up is a baseline technique you're going to encounter constantly. It's called zero shot. Now, this is prompting an AI model to complete a task without providing any prior examples or practice data. Essentially, you're asking the AI to play the game completely cold. You're relying 100% on its pre-existing training without giving it a single practice round. Actually, it's the most common way everyday people use AI, and it's great for quick, simple facts. But when we get into complex workflows and nuanced formatting, jumping in cold is super risky. It almost always leads to inconsistent results. Section 3. Adding context and character. Guiding the output. So how do we actively guide that output to get what we actually want? Well, through few-shot prompting. This means you're prompting an AI model by giving it a small number of examples to really demonstrate the desired pattern or output format you're looking for. Instead of going in cold, you're giving the AI a few crystal-clear examples so it can learn the pattern before it formulates its answer. Honestly, it's exactly like handing a new colleague 2 or 3 completed reports so they know exactly what formatting you expect before they go off and write their own. And guys, the difference in output quality here is just staggering. With zero shot, the AI is basically fumbling in the dark, just guessing at your formatting preferences. But by adding just 2 or 3 examples via few shot, the AI stops guessing entirely and starts mimicking your exact structural standards. It fundamentally refines the output. You're turning what would be a generic, run-of-the-mill response into a highly specialized deliverable. Now, another incredibly powerful way to guide that output is through role prompting. This is where you instruct the AI to adopt a specific character, profession, or expert persona. You aren't just asking a question anymore, you are assigning a whole identity. Try telling the model to act as a senior data analyst, or a ruthless venture capitalist, or heck, even a cynical 1920s detective. You'll watch its communication style, its vocabulary, its analytical focus instantly shift to match. This technique is a total game changer because it forces the AI to align its depth of knowledge with that specific targeted expertise. Section 4. Step-by-step AI reasoning. Complex problem solving. Now, if you really want the AI to do some heavy lifting, this right here is your pinnacle technique, chain of thought. This guides the AI to articulate its internal logic and intermediate reasoning steps before arriving at a final answer. By forcing the AI to basically show its work sequentially, you drastically reduce logic errors and those weird hallucinations we sometimes see. It literally prevents the model from just wildly jumping to incorrect or mathematically flawed conclusions. It flows in a really logical way. First, you input a complex problem. Then, instead of immediately blurting out a guess, the AI outlines its intermediate reasoning. It's essentially talking itself through the problem out loud. Only then, at step 3, does it deliver a calculated output. Giving the AI this computational breathing room vastly improves its problem-solving accuracy. When the model has the space to generate those intermediate steps first, complex tasks become highly reliable. Okay, so we've got all these amazing frameworks in our toolkit now: system prompts, zero shot, few shot, role prompting, chain of thought, the whole shebang. But that leaves a massive, glaring question staring us right in the face. How do we actually test these techniques in the real world? Because, let's be honest, theory is great, but application is everything. It is time to pivot and get our hands dirty. Section 5, the Optimization Tool Project, putting it all together. For our final project, we are going to build a prompt optimization tool, and we're going to leverage every single technique we just talked about. We'll set the overarching rules with system prompts, test our baselines with zero-shot, refine the formatting with few-shot examples, assign expert personas using role prompting, and lock in that complex logical accuracy using chain of thought. When you put it all together, you are essentially building a custom tool that completely supercharges your own ability to command AI. So, now that you possess the exact vocabulary to communicate perfectly with these models, how will you optimize your AI workflows? Think about the bottlenecks in your own daily work. The creative hurdles, the complex logic problems that slow you down. You now hold the exact toolkit to solve them efficiently. The only question left is, what are you going to build first? Thanks for joining me on this explainer today. You are now officially ready to engineer some incredible prompts.